What is happening? What's going on? The multifamily code. Tom, appreciate you for go ahead and giving a like already. I ain't even said anything yet. That's what I'm talking about. Happy Friday. Happy to get started today too. So just a little bit today. My name is Jason Stubblefield. Welcome to the Multifamily Baptist Church of Atlanta, Georgia, where I will be providing the sermon, the good word from the day. Yeah, let's have some fun. It's Friday. But we will be discussing waterfall structures today. So what is a waterfall structure? Why do you implement that into your investment? And what are the implications of doing that? So you really have three main categories that you would utilize waterfalls for, right? So we'll be discussing all of that. And at the end of this, you're going to understand how to make those structures. You can put it into your deals that you're doing, and you can understand it if you're an active investor. Now, if you are a passive investor, you might see this structure. You probably will see these structures come along in your investments. And so you'll know what it is, you know why it's there, and you'll have a better understanding. So both sides of the equation, no matter where you fall at, these waterfall structures and this information for today should be relevant to you. So before we get kicked off here, let's get a quick roll call. So if you are attending, go ahead and drop in the chat, whether you're on Zoom or whether you are live on Facebook, and just let me know where you're listening to this live broadcast from today. And while we do that, I will also go ahead and do a brief screen share right now. So who is this preacher today? Preaching this multifamily gospel. Why should I even bother to pay attention to him? Name's Jason Stubblefield. What you're looking at right now, if you can see my screen, is realapartments.com. That's RIL apartments.com. And this is a website, new website, used to be SNS Capital Partners. We rebranded, sort of moved over to this website. Now we have a focus on affordable housing. And on this website here, you can find out more about what we're doing in the affordable housing space. It's still multifamily, just a little niche that we're doing within that. You can scroll down, you can see some of the deals that we've done, some of the returns, so a little bit about our team, our strategy. And if you're looking for investments, right? If you've seen waterfall structures, or you may be interested in passively investing, then if you click on this Invest Now tab, that will bring you to a form. You fill out that form. Either me or somebody from my team will reach out to you. We'll have a conversation. We'll see if what we're doing is a good match for you, and you'll hear about the deals that we're doing. If you're not on our list, there's a good chance that you may not hear about some of the deals that we have going on. So if you're interested, you definitely want to fill that out. And let me go ahead and stop the screen share right now. So cool. Good deal. Let's see what we got going on from today. I see strong and faithful Dallas is in the house today. El Paso, Texas. We got that. Orlando. Okay. We're looking good. And Seattle. All right. Seattle. We made it to the West Coast, which is, what is it in Seattle right now? 8 in the morning. Okay. So we got up and at it pretty soon. All right, let's dig into waterfall structures right now. If you have questions, again, I say always just put that in the comments. You took time out of your day to attend this webinar. I want to make sure that I give you something worthwhile. And if you got a question, I want to make sure that we answer that. So I'll be monitoring that as we go along. Let's go ahead and see if we can hop right into this. So waterfall structures. Let me really just explain this. So I'm going to do a quick share of whiteboard right now, and we'll hop right into it. So this, and that should come up, and you all let me know if you can see my screen. We should be good to go. So in order to, why did that go away? Are you all able to see my screen? Are you looking at a whiteboard right now? Because I don't think you are. Nope, I see heads nodding. So let me try this again. I think I messed that up. How about now? Are we good? Let me check us out. I think you should be looking at a screen now. I see nose, but I see it here. Let me see. But all right, now I see head nods. I think we're in good shape. Cool. So let's go ahead and get this started. So in order to understand waterfall structures, you first need to really understand a capital stack. So what I'm going to do right now is briefly try to go over just a capital stack with you, right? And part of my handwriting right now, why does this look so funky? That is black. Maybe we could thicken it up a little bit. So capital stacks, right? So drawing this out, so you'll have over here, the biggest part of your capital stack is probably going to be your debt, right? So it's right there. So you'll have debt right here. And then on top of that, you will have another layer here, which you may call your PE. And this is what we'll refer to as preferred equity. And then you'll have another stack right here, which will be CE, and that is your common equity. And then you may have here what we'll call your GP equity, right? So these should be proportioned, right? So 65 to 75% of your capital stack will come from your debt. Okay, so that'll be this box right here. Let's see if we can get that. So this will be 65 to 75%, depending on your leverage, will come right from this guy. So that's why it's got the major chunk right here. And preferred equity. So what is preferred equity? If you're putting a deal together in your preferred equity, what you're going to say is this capital stack right here is going to have preferential treatment when it comes to the order of funds getting distributed. So the first thing you got to do is you got to pay your loan back, right? You got to pay the debt. And then the second thing that you'll do is you'll play your preferred equity. All right. And so this may be, anywhere from like 5 to 25%, depending on how you structure your deal. We typically don't like to see this number over 15%, right? So we want it to be on the lower end, but you'll see some deals that may get structured where they have a preferred equity or a preferred equity class, a special class of investors that will fall in here. And then you'll have your common equity, and this will probably make up the rest, right? So if I were to take this to no more than like 15%, then this will probably make up the other, call it 15 to 20% that you need. And the GP interest, so we invest in all of our deals, right? But we invest as common equity. So what we do is we put our capital here along with common equity or even in preferred equity, and we invest alongside here. So your returns as a GP are actually hard to calculate. It's somewhat like infinite, because this is the capital that you earn for managing the deal. However, the investment of it comes here into the common equity, if that makes sense. All right. So that is your capital stack sort of explained. I don't want to do that. Take that away. At least let me move it to the side. So let's see if we can go out here and sort of just explain what a waterfall is, given this structure that we got going on. Yeah, let's make sure I got my black going, because that looked almost sort of gray. But all right, so to now that you understand the capital stack and how that works, when you talk about a waterfall, we're mainly talking about these buckets, right? So you'll have a bucket of capital here, and then you may have another bucket of capital here, and let's just do it with a third, right? And another bucket of capital here. So when we say waterfall, what that means is we're going to pour into this bucket first, right? And all the money, right? This is money, okay? So we're going to take all the money and we're going to fill it into this bucket right here until that fills up, right? And then once this guy gets filled up, then the money is going to flow here, and we'll do that until that fills up. And then once this is filled up, then we'll go over here. And so this is where you get the waterfall structure. So what would this bucket be? Well, this initial bucket right now would probably be your preferred equity, right? Your preferred equity would get here, and then after they get here, you may have a GP split, right? And I'll explain this a little bit more. This will be GP and LP. And then after that, you may say there's another structure here. So now we've performed and we filled this bucket of capital up. Now we're going to roll into the remainder of capital that will get split somewhat differently. So stick with me if that didn't quite make sense. We'll get away from my ugly drawing and see if I could clean this up a little bit. Mainly what I want you to take away is that we're talking about the flow of capital on an event. So we got three ways that we really can distribute capital. One of them is over cash flow, right? Cash flow from a deal as monthly cash flow is coming in. Then we're going to have capital events, which one of those could be maybe you refinance the property. What are we going to do during the refinance? And then what are we going to do on a sale, right? So let's hop into that a little bit more. And I'll get you away from the suffering of my handwriting and a little something I put together that might be better than that. So let me blow this up here. Let's find it. Give me that. Okay, there we go. All right, so first structure we'll talk about will be the waterfall. Let me get my laser going on. Okay, so what we will do in a deal is we'll talk about cash flow, and what we'll say is like, hey, in a standard or typical syndication deal, we're going to have a 7% preferred return, right? And so the first capital that was going to go into is getting our investors their preferred returns. This first 7% is going to come into this bucket right here. So for instance, if we $100,000, then you are owed $7,000 for the year. Okay. So if you have $7,000 for a year, we're going to fill up this bucket here first. All right. Now, after we've done that, everything above $7,000 a year, this is just simple math, right? Assuming we did a $100,000 investment. Now we're going to flow the remainder of that money over into here, right? So now we will have the limited partners who will get 70% of the remaining capital, and you would have the general partnership who would get 30% of the remaining capital. All right. So after this bucket gets filled up here and all that preferred return has been made, now we're going to do a 70-30 split. Okay. And what you will have in some deals is what we will call a hurdle, right? And so let me just draw this out. I'll put some of mine in there, right? So this hurdle will be a line right here, right? And typically, you know, on our deals, this could be as low as say 13, high we may go to 15%. Okay. So what we're saying, your average annual return or IRR, however we split it up, what is being said is we're going to get you this hurdle, right? Like we're looking to make that return on your capital. And then we may split the deal up differently after that. So why does that happen? Well, that's incentivizing the general partnership team to do better on the deal. And it's prioritizing the investors, right? So investors can say, hey, I'm going to get this is my deal structure until we hit this sort of metric right here, right? Until we get over here and I get 15% of my money, this is our deal structure. After we've gotten 15%, well, now the general partnership can do like a 50-50 split, right? So now they're going to retain more of the capital after that, but that only happens if they perform. If we don't get to 15% for our limited partners, then we never get to this 50-50 split of profits after that, right? So most times or many times what you'll see is we may actually just be stuck right here. On a very simple structure, we'll just be right here. We won't even talk about the hurdles, right? We'll just say, hey, 7% preferred return, and you have a 70-30 split. Me personally, I'm not investing in any deals where I don't get a preferred return. And that's, you know, I've seen deals structured like that, but what we like to do is offer that so you're incentivized to make sure that as an investor, you're going to get your money first, right? And then the GP and LP can get it. Now, if you are actively pursuing deals, why would you want to structure a deal in this method, right? Why would you want to give a preferred return? Well, it actually helps your deal look better because this is all return driven. And so in commercial real estate and apartment investing, oftentimes you're not buying the deal by yourself. So if you're looking at other people's capital, then you want to give them a return first, right? Sort of give them preferential treatment for investing in your deal. And then you make your money more so on the back end of the deal. That's just the way you structure it, right? So this is like a cash flow distribution. And we'll get into here where we talk about what happens on a sale or on a capital event. And so we only have this structure here because we treat capital events and the sale of a property almost the same, right? So we're not going to really do anything different with the capital there, right? So zoom out a little bit there, come up so you can get all of those, right? So how that goes on a capital event is you still got your preferred return, right? So the first 7% of the capital goes to the investors. If it's $1 million, then you have 7% of that million. If it's 10 million, then 7% of the $10 million that you invested goes right here into this return. Now, once we fill up that bucket, now we're going to drop down to the return of the initial investment. So if an investor puts in $100,000, well, they get their $100,000 back. All right. So now they've got the return of their capital back. And so what happens with the money above that? Well, now we're going to split it on this 70-30 split here. All right. So on a sale, that's just how it flows out. And then again, we will introduce our hurdle. So we say, all right, well, if we get above a 13% IRR or 15% average annual return, whatever that is, now we're going to split everything else 50-50. And that's fair, right? Depending on the deal, you say, hey, investors, you get 15%. And now if we do better than that, well, we'll just split profits 50-50. And this is good. There's actually been some deals that we exited and I didn't have this structure on. And I was like, we made the investors very happy on that. But when you get into some, like, you just find a great deal, you operate effectively, or the market changes and goes in your favor, and suddenly, you know, there's multiple $1 million of excess capital, you'll get the benefit of having this waterfall structure. But if you don't have it and you just do a 70-30 split, hey, you make your investors very happy, and you still have an investor base to roll into the next deal. So that's really waterfall structures and how it works. What you will see, you won't see a diagram like this. So if you are passively investing, this structure will be outlined in your private placement memorandum, right? So they're going to give you documents and they're going to talk about the first money that comes out, it goes this and 7% return and your hurdles and IRR, all that'll be in words. But I think in terms of graphics, so that's why I did a little graphic here and explain it all to you. So you can see the waterfall and you see how this shows up. And now hopefully you understand how it makes your deals work. And it's a better way to structure deals. I won't say better, but just another way of structuring deals. And you can have familiarity with that when you see it in your upcoming deal. So I'll stop the screen share for now, and we'll see if we have any questions. Right, let me hop over here. All right. Iris says we got no questions, so we should be good. That means either I did a hell of a job explaining that, or y'all are just mesmerized and don't know what I'm talking about anyway. I want to go with the first one though. I think I nailed it. I have a pretty simple way of putting things. So thanks, Steven says I did a good job. Great. Appreciate that. That's all we got for today. So hopefully that information was informative to you. Appreciate you all joining in here today. So enjoy your weekend, be the best version of you, because it'll make you the happiest. And I'll see y'all next week. Take care.